Hi, I'm Ram Gopal from presentationprocess.com. In this short training course, you're going to learn 5 animation tricks under 5 minutes so your slides are much clearer and more memorable. While the techniques I'm about to teach you may take less than 5 minutes to understand, I may take a little longer in this session so you understand the techniques as clearly as possible. So, are you ready to learn? Wonderful, let's jump right in. The first technique you're going to learn is to animate smart art graphics. Most business presenters are not aware that they can animate their smart art graphics. So they end up presenting their graphic like the way they created it. Since the audience sees a lot of information all at one go, they may get overwhelmed and therefore may tune out. Instead, if I were to present the same graphic as a story, take a look at how this pans out. On the first click, I'm going to tell the audience that I'm going to present a linear process. As you can observe, this graphic gives a visual cue about linear process. Then I talk about the first step in the process. Once I finish talking about step 1, I go to step 2. I take sufficient time to explain step 2, then I go to step 3, and then go to step 4. Now, as you can observe, as a presenter, I have far more control in terms of dictating the pace of my presentation. I decide the sequence in which I want to present my information and the time at which I want to introduce the various steps. That is the way to gain control in a business presentation. Now let me show you the mechanics of how to animate a smart art graphic. I am going to animate this smart art graphic. The first step is to click on the smart art graphic. Then you choose one of the entrance animations from the Animations tab in PowerPoint ribbon. The entrance effect I am going to choose is wipe. As you can see, the default direction of wipe is from bottom up. So let me go to Effect Options and change the direction of wipe from bottom to from left. Now as you can see, the direction of the wipe is satisfactory. Now, even though I am happy with the direction of the wipe, I am not really happy with the way in which the animation pans out. I don't want all the elements to animate at once. I want to animate each of these elements on a click. How do I achieve that? It's very simple. Let me go to the effect options here, and instead of choosing as one object, which is the default option, I am going to choose one by one. Now let me go to the slideshow mode, and as I mentioned earlier, on the first click, I have the background graphic appear. Then on the next click, I have the first step appear, then the second and the third and the fourth. I have complete control in the way I want to present my information. Isn't this beautiful? So that is the first trick you learned in this course. Now let us go to the next trick. The second trick you're going to learn is how to highlight certain words in a quote. Let me show you an example. Take a look at this slide. Here we see a beautiful quote by Bill Gates which says, "Your most unhappy customers are your greatest source of learning." While the quote is so powerful, the way in which it is presented doesn't draw the attention of the audience to the true meaning of the sentence. Now see how I bring out the power of the quote by adding a bit of custom animation. Bill Gates once said, "Your most unhappy customers are your greatest source of learning." Most of us have the tendency to crib about unhappy customers. But the moment we equate unhappy customers with learning, our approach to customer service changes completely. Now can you see how beautifully we have equated these two words by highlighting them in different color? Now, how did we achieve this beautiful effect? That is what you're going to learn now. This is the quote I'm going to work with. The first step is to select the text box, and I'm going to make a duplicate of this one. To do that, all I need to do is to press Ctrl D. Ctrl D is the shortcut for duplicate. Now I have a copy of the previous quote. Now in this copy, I'm going to make changes to the font color of certain words. Now as you can see here, we want to highlight unhappy customers and learning, and therefore I have changed the font color to red. Now I'm going to place this highlighted text right on top of the previous one. Now, just to ensure that they both are properly aligned, I'm going to select both these quotes. Let me go to Arrange and go to Align and say Align Top. Once again, I go to Arrange, Align and Align Left. Now I can be sure that both the quotes are perfectly aligned one on top of the other. Now let me select the quote on the top and let me go to animation, and I'm going to choose entrance animation, which is called fade animation. Now let me see what happens when I go to the slideshow mode. Now as you can see, the highlighted text is not visible right now because that is going to enter only on click, so you see just the plain code. Then on click, the highlighted text appears and you can see that we have certain words beautifully highlighted. So that is how we highlight certain words in a quote using custom animation. Isn't this a beautiful trick? Great, let us go to the next trick. The third technique you're going to learn is how to highlight a section or a part of the photo. Take a look at this photo. I want to draw the attention of audience to this person. The way I do this is I click and only that person's face is highlighted and the rest is dimmed out. Isn't this a beautiful effect? Let me show you how to do this. I'm going to work with this photo. The first step is to go to the Home tab in PowerPoint ribbon, and under Auto Shapes, I'm going to select the Oval tool under Basic Shapes. Let me click on it, and I'm going to hold the Shift button down as I draw a perfect circle that covers the face of the person that I want to highlight. I'm going to go to Shape Outline and say No Outline, and let me give this a different color, say red color. Then let me go to Auto Shapes menu once again, and this time let me pick up the Rectangle tool. I'm going to draw a rectangle that covers the entire slide area end to end. Let me go to Shape Outline and say No Outline. Now the next step is to bring the circle we drew earlier on top of this rectangle. To do that, I'm going to click and drag my cursor across the area where I drew the circle. Now I'm going to right click on the bounding box here and I'm going to say Bring to Front. Now I have a circle and a rectangle. Now I'm going to punch a hole in this rectangle using this circle. To do that, first I'm going to select the rectangle. I'm going to hold the Shift button down as I select the circle. Then let me go to the Format tab, and under Merge Shapes, I'm going to choose one of the options called Subtract. As soon as I did that, you can see that a hole is punched where that red circle was on. Now I have this in blue color. I want to change this fill color from blue to black. Now let me right click on this shape, go to Format Shape, and I'm going to increase the transparency slightly. So the highlight is only this face and the rest is dimmed out. That's beautiful. Now I'm going to add animation. So let me go to the Animations tab here and add Fade Animation. Beautiful. Now let me go to the slideshow mode and see the action. First, I see the entire photo. Then on a click, I have only that person's face highlighted and the rest of the area is dimmed. Isn't that beautiful? All we did was to first draw a rectangle, then we punched a hole in the rectangle using circle. We filled the rectangle with black color and increased the transparency, and we applied fade animation effect. So that is the trick to highlight a certain part of the photo. Wasn't that trick beautiful? Now let us go to the next trick. The fourth trick you're going to learn is how to highlight a certain number in a table. While the trick in itself may be very simple, it has a lot of application on a number of occasions. Let me show you what the trick is. Take a look at this table. There are a lot of numbers here that might intimidate the audience. I don't want the audience to confuse themselves with too many numbers here. I want to bring their attention to just two numbers, which are 357 and 995. The way I draw their attention to those two numbers is, on the first click, I highlight the first number, I give my explanation, and then on the next click, I highlight the second number and I give my explanation. Isn't this beautiful? It's such a useful way to highlight a certain number in a table, certain text in a paragraph, certain part of a map, etc. Now let me show you how to draw this beautiful highlighting oval that pretty much draws itself. The first step is to go to the Home tab in PowerPoint ribbon. Under Auto Shapes, I'm going to pick up this tool called as Oval tool under Basic Shapes, and I'm going to draw an oval which covers the area that I want to highlight. Then I'm going to go to Shape Fill and say No Fill, and let me choose a different color for Shape Outline. In this case, I'm going to choose red color, and let me increase the weight of the line by going to shape outline, going to weight and add 4.5 points. Beautiful. Let me first remove these other two highlights so you can focus on this one as we apply the animation. Now let me select the oval that I just drew. Then I go to Animations tab and here I'm going to choose Wheel Animation. Now as I did that, you can see that the oval pretty much draws itself. Let me go to the slideshow mode and you can see the self-drawing oval highlight in action. On a click, I have this oval pretty much drawing itself. Isn't that a beautiful graphic to learn? Let us go to the final technique in this mini training course. The final trick you're going to learn is how to leverage the power of bounce effect in PowerPoint animation. Let me illustrate the power of bounce effect. Take a look at this slide which talks about the economic condition of a fictitious nation. There are two factors that are affecting the economy of this nation. One is failed monsoon, another one is prolonged war situation. As you saw, there are two arrows that flew in from either side, but in the way in which the animation panned out, there is no clear impact. Now take a look at the same animation now with bounce effect. First, I have the nation's economy shown, and then on first click, I have failed monsoon, this particular factor coming in and bouncing around the edges, and then I have the next factor coming in and bouncing off the edges. Now let me show you a quick side-by-side comparison of the effect of bounce on the same animation. The one on the top shows fly-in animation without bounce. As you can see, the landing is fairly soft. Now watch the same animation with bounce. Let me show you again. The one without bounce and the one with bounce. Now can you see the power of this beautiful animation? Let me show you how easy it is to add bounce to your fly-in animation. Now here is the slide which has fly-in animation without bounce effect. The first step I'm going to do to add a bit of punch to this animation is to go to these two animations and reduce the duration from 0.5 to 0.25. When the duration is reduced, the bounce effect is so much more pronounced. Now, after selecting these two animations in the animation pane, let me go to the effect options and here I see the option called bounce end. I'm going to move this marker from left extreme to somewhere around the center. Now that looks beautiful. Let me go to OK. And now you can see the impact of the bounce effect. On the first click, I have the first fly-in with bounce, and then I have the second fly-in with bounce. So that is how you add bounce effect. All you need to do is to select the animations and then go to effect options and alter the bounce end position from left extreme to the center position. That's it. You will have the bounce effect applied. Now, to quickly summarize the 5 animation tricks we learned in this mini training course, first we learned how to animate smart art graphics. Then we learned how to highlight certain words in a quote. Then we learned how to highlight a part of the photo. Then we learned how to highlight a number in a table. Finally, we learned how to leverage the power of bounce effect whenever we do fly-in animations. I hope you learned some very useful animation tricks in this short training course. Thanks a lot for watching this course and see you in the next video. Thanks a lot for watching this mini training course. Now you can go ahead and make over one of your existing presentations with the 5 tricks you just learned. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.